up? Good evening, everyone. Tonight's video is taking place from my office, but hey, I hope everybody had a great day of school. First day of school for some of you guys. I don't know if you went like to class or in person or online or whatever, but who would have thought that back in March or April this would be like such an important day? Like, it's always an important day, the first day back to school, but this is a big deal because we haven't been in school for longer than usual. So, hey, before we get too far, let me share with you some stuff. First of all, this Sunday, we are going back inside for church services. So it's been a while, so mask up, and I hope to see you Sunday. Second of all, with that being said, hopefully it won't be too long before we get some things figured out, see how it goes. We can do some stuff together as youth group, as student ministry. After we finish this series, Love Doesn't Die, going through the first John, we'll do all of these by video Monday nights at 8 o'clock. We're going to be doing a conversation when we get back together called The Reason for God. And this is kind of a little book going through it, The Reason for God. This is an awesome book. And we're going to be talking about some of the big questions that maybe you've wondered about or maybe you've heard. Some objections to Christianity. Things like, if God is so good, why do people suffer? If God is so good, why do good people go to hell? Isn't the Bible a myth? Hasn't science disproved Christianity? These are crucial questions, and so I don't want to do those by making video. I want us to be in a room together, or at least outside together somewhere, those of us who can, and kind of have those conversations. So I'm looking forward to that, and so hopefully we'll kind of figure out what it looks like to have church inside, and we'll go from there. We'll get some more info about that. Third thing I wanted to share with you is that we missed going to Caswell this summer, but we have a chance to go in November. So a fall weekend retreat, and I gave away some of these this past Sunday, but it was kind of rainy, not a lot of people outside at church. So this Sunday I'll be giving these out. This is kind of a save the date for November the 13th through 15th. For a weekend retreat to Caswell. If you or your parents paid to go to Caswell for the summer, that trip got canceled, we still have those deposits, and so those can apply to that. But I don't know that many people actually got that far with that. So I'll be giving out some more details later about what that weekend will look like, what are the costs, what do we need to have, what do we need to have to bring. What do we need to do for safety precautions and protocols that Caswell has? And so I don't know the answers to all of those things yet, but I knew those things are coming. And so, but listen, if you went to Caswell last year, you know how awesome it is. But you don't want to miss this weekend retreat. It's just a Friday, leave Friday, come back Sunday. But if you've been before, you know that this is a big deal. We have a cottage to ourselves. Like, we're not staying in the barracks. We have our own house for this weekend retreat. So be on the lookout for that. And I'll send more info soon about that through Facebook and other social media, our church webpage, and things like that. So, hey, just real quick tonight, I want to read to you just a few verses from 1 John chapter 3, verses 4 through 7. It says this: everyone who sins breaks the law. In fact, sin is lawlessness. But you know that he appeared so that he might take away your sins, our sins, and in him is no sin. No one who lives in him keeps on sinning. No one who continues to sin has either seen him or known him. Dear children, do not let anyone lead you astray. The one who does what is right is righteous, just as he is righteous. So, let me just tell you about my day today. Well, actually, let me go back like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. About a week and a half ago, I started my summer semester for my doctoral work. I'm doing some classes to hopefully be Dr. Will one day. And, I wasn't even sure, like, when they kind of scheduled out these seminars that we had to do, if I would even be able to go, because it was like the week that the baby was due. And so, Lorelai. And so, we just weren't sure, like, if she was going to be late, if she's going to be early, she's going to be on time. And so I wasn't sure, like, if I go to these seminars, am I going to be able to get back in time if, like, my wife goes into labor? Like, I just didn't know. But luckily everything was on Zoom, and so I was just able to do it from home. But my seminar was Monday through Friday. I was sitting in front of a computer just like I am right now, and have all these like people on my screen and interacting and stuff, and so my work for the seminar, my brain was just toast when I actually got to the class because I had read like 18 books and then had to do discussions and do presentations on them. And so when I did my seminar right after that, they gave us 2 papers to write. Not too bad. One is like 15 pages and then the other's like 25 to 30 or something like that. And so I went ahead and started on my 15-page paper first because that one is easier. The topic is easier. I have a ton of books in my office that can help me and I can use for sources. And so the other one was just going to take a lot more time. So I started on the easy one first. And so last week, I knocked out like 8 pages of this paper and I was feeling good about it. And then Thursday and Friday, I just got really busy with some other stuff, like just life stuff, and I didn't get to finish my paper like I wanted to. So then this weekend, I got busy doing stuff around the house, like cutting the grass, doing yard work. I got my lawnmower fixed, and so I could do all that stuff, and I just didn't really get a chance to work on my paper like I wanted to. And then this morning, I thought, hey, perfect time to knock out the rest of my paper, like the kids are at school. Nobody's going to be at the office today. I could just get this one paper finished, and then I can start thinking about the next paper. And so I got in my car this morning to take Graham to school. Then I was going to go to the church or come to the church and finish it, and I had a flat tire. Now, full disclosure, I am 35 years old. This is the first time in my life I've ever had a flat tire. Just my first flat tire. So I don't even know how to change a tire. Like I've never had to do it before. And so what do? Like I pulled up YouTube, and you know, YouTube has a video for everything and a fix for everything. So I found a video with my type of car, and this guy's changing the tire on my car. So I pull it up, I'm like, this is awesome, I got this. And so it looks easy. I happened to have a spare tire from the last time I got new tires on my car. So I got the jack out. I got the tire iron out. I successfully jacked the car up, which made me really nervous because I'd never done it before, but I did a good job. Like I didn't mess anything up. So I didn't jack it up, but I jacked it up, right? So I went to get the tire off, and I could not get the lug nuts off. Like they were extremely tight. Like I think somebody came and like pranked me by super gluing the lug nuts onto the rim or to the hubcap. And so this morning I spent like my entire morning wrestling with this tire, trying to get it off my car, and then I just finally gave up. I was like, I can't do it. So I went to the shop and I spent the morning waiting on new tires. And so I did not get to work on my paper that is due soon like I wanted to. So I don't know if this is the best word to describe me this week, but the best word to describe me this week is probably distracted. Like I've just gone off course from the things that I wanted to do. Like I had in my mind this week I'm going to finish this paper, and I have not had a chance to sit down and do it. And so things just haven't gone my way, and it's not a bad thing. Like I got some other things done in the meantime, but I did not get done the one thing I wanted to do. Everything just kind of distracted me from reaching the goal that I wanted to reach this week. Well, in 1 John 3 verses 4 through 7, what we just read, John is talking to people who are distracted. But they haven't been distracted due to unforeseen circumstances like we all face from time to time. They're distracted because they are being deceived. It's a different type of distraction. Somebody wants to distract them and get them off of the way that they've been going. And over 500 times, the Bible references sheep, like the animal. Humans are compared to sheep all throughout the Bible. Jesus compares us to sheep because, like sheep, we have a tendency to get distracted, to go astray, to go off course, and to be deceived by predators. Sometimes that predator is like what 1 Peter 5:8 says, a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. That's how Satan is described. Other times, though, what John is describing is the predator is really a wolf in sheep's clothing, and it's not always easy to identify a wolf in sheep's clothing, but they have the ability to pass themselves off as sheep, someone who is like you and me, but they turn on us. They have a different agenda. If you have Netflix, we just encourage you. There's a documentary on Netflix called American Gospel. It kind of shows you some wolves in sheep's clothing. So if you get a chance to check that out on Netflix, highly recommend. In the verses leading up to what we just read, we talked about these a few weeks ago, but John is warning the believers of those wolves in sheep's clothing. He calls them antichrist. They are against Jesus. They are against Christ. And if you didn't catch the video where we talked about that, you can find it about 2 weeks ago from Facebook. But these antichrists were false teachers within the church. They denied that Jesus was divine. They rejected the incarnation, that God had come to earth as a man. And John keeps insisting that this was not an illusion. This was not fake, that Jesus was an actual person with a physical body. And so John tells us two important facts about Jesus here. First, he reminds us that God became a man to remove the problem of sin for us. That was his mission. But second, that the difference between Jesus as a man, as a physical body, and everyone else is that Jesus was sinless. So let's look at the totality of what John has been saying here and what he has to say in these verses. John establishes the fact that Jesus was a real person. He establishes that sin is a real problem for real people. Then he establishes that even though sin is a real problem for real people, and Jesus was a real person, sin was not a problem for him. So the focus of the problem then shifts from Jesus to you and I. There's no problem with Jesus. Jesus is perfect. But there is a problem with you and I, and that is sin. And so he makes it personal. In verse 6, he says, "No one who lives in him keeps on sinning, and no one who continues to sin has either seen him or known him." So what does John mean by that? Well, he means that if you know Jesus, then you're still not perfect. You're still a sinner. But when you do sin, it's because you've chosen to do it. Why? Because Jesus has freed us from the power of sin. We are not in chains to sin. We are not in bondage to sin. When you're a slave to sin without Jesus, you just can't help it. Like, it's just your nature. Like, you are going to sin every time. But if you know Jesus, Jesus has freed you from that. So therefore, when you do sin, it's because you have chosen to sin. And so John says, hey, the people that embrace their sin, like, those are the people that really don't know Jesus. If you embrace your sin, if you know that you sinned and you don't care, then John is saying, you really don't know Jesus. One of the things I had to do in one of my seminars last week and a half ago, was do this self-evaluation of strengths and weaknesses that I have. If you've ever been to a job interview and they ask you what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, like, that is a tough question to answer because you don't want to seem too weak, but you also don't want to be seen too proud. And so you're like, my weaknesses are actually my strengths. And what does that even mean? I don't know. But like, those are some of those hard interview questions to ask. But if you've never done one of these evaluations that evaluates your strengths and your weaknesses, they can trip you up a little bit because you quickly find out that sometimes the things that you think you're good at, you're really not good at. Like, they're actually weaknesses for you. What John is telling us here, that we need to do a self-evaluation of our faith, a self-evaluation of our beliefs. And the evaluation is, how do we deal with sin in our lives? Like, what do we dwell on? What do we desire? Do we desire Jesus, or we desire other stuff? Do we love Jesus, or do we love other stuff more? So my challenge to you this week, as things get busy for you this semester, you get bombarded with homework and schoolwork and then stuff outside of school that you have to do. Do a self-evaluation of this issue. Read through 1 John chapter 3 and ask yourself, like, what is your attitude towards sin? And then spend time in prayer, asking the Lord to align your heart and your attitude and your view of things that can easily lead us astray in our walk with the Lord. I hope you guys have a great night, a great school. This is SpongeBob. And I'll be sending more information out about our retreat to Caswell and some other stuff we have going on. And thanks for watching this. We'll see you later.